Good morning. All right, so what you're gonna do is, you should have just watched the video over the notes. And then now what you're gonna do is go through some examples. If you have not already tried these examples on your own, go ahead and close your iPad and try them on your own. After you've completed numbers 1 through 8, then you're gonna watch this video to check your work. All right, so we are going to make an XY chart for every problem and then graph the coordinates and draw the line. So focusing on number 1, so I'm going to slide over here. So when you're making your XY chart, we're just going to keep the numbers simple. We're going to use 0, 1, and 2. You also want to use, on a coordinate plane like this that only goes up to 10 and -10, you also want to use smaller numbers so that the points will fit on your line. So we're going to substitute 0 for x. So 4 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 1 is 1. So there's your first ordered pair. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. There's your second ordered pair. And 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 plus 1 is 9. So we've got 3 ordered pairs to graph. So 0 on the x, 1 on the y. 1 on the x and 5 on the y, 2 on the x and 9 on the y. So then you're going to connect your points to make a line. Of course, it would be much neater than that on paper. So remember that our original formula that you learned on the notes page is y is equal to m times x plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. So notice in problem number 1 that b is equal to 1, and that's right where your line hits your axis. Okay, XY chart for number 2. Use simple numbers like 0, 1, and 2. Substitute 0 for x. So 1/2 times x is, 1/2 times 0 is 0, and 0 minus 2 is -2, first ordered pair. 1/2 times x is 1, and 1 minus 2 is -1 and 1/2. Substitute 2 for x. 1/2 of 2 is 1, and 1 minus 2 is -1. Third ordered pair. All right, so 0 on the x, -2 on the y, 1 on the x, -1.5 on the y. So these points are going to be really close together. 2 on the x and -1 on the y. Your line should look something like that. So remember that y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of your line. So the slope of this line is 1/2 or 1 to 2, and your y-intercept, the b, is -2. -2 is where the line hits your y-axis. Number 3, make your XY chart. Use 0, 1, and 2. Substitute. 3/2 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is -3. 3/2 times x is 3/2. 3/2 minus 3 is -1.5. 3/2 times 2 is 6/2, which is 3, and 3 minus 3 is 0. Okay, so let's graph our points. We've got 0 on the x, -3 on the y, 1 on the x, -1.5 on the y, whoops, 2 on the x, and 0 on the y. So remember again that formula, y is equal to mx plus b. M is the slope of your line. Whoopsies, I forgot to connect my point. Sorry about that. So connect your points, draw your line. So the slope of this line is 3 to 2, and the y-intercept, the plus b, is -3. -3 is exactly where your line hits your y-axis. XY chart, 0, 1, and 2. Substitute, -1/2 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 3 is 3. -1/2 times 1 is -1/2. -1/2 plus 3 is 2.5. -1/2 times 2 is -1. -1 plus 3 is 2. Plot your points, 0, 3, 1, 2.5, 2, 2. Whoops, messed that one up. 2, 2. Connect your points. So this has a negative slope. And we already knew that, right? Because here's the slope of your line. Here's your y-intercept. Yep. 3 is exactly where your line hit your y-axis. Number 5, create your XY chart. 0, 1, and 2. Substitute for x. -5/4 times 0 is 0. -1 is -1. -5/4 times 1 is -5/4. -5/4 minus 1 is -2 1/4. -5/4 times 2 is -10/4. Minus 1 is -3.5. So when I was solving for y, I was working all of this out with paper and pencil, converting to improper fractions, cross-canceling, just to double check myself and make sure my coordinates were going to be correct. So 0 and -1, 1 and -2 1/4, 2 and -3.5. So this clearly, visually, has a negative slope, and we knew it had a negative slope because m was equal to -5/4, and your y-intercept was -1, and that is exactly where your line hit your y-axis, was -1. Create your XY chart. We're going to use 0. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to use 0, 1, and 2. Now, this looks a little bit different, right? Because we don't have y equals mx plus b. All we have is y equals 5. If all you have is y equals 5, then y is going to equal 5 here, and here, and here. So 0, 5, 1, 5, and 2, 5. Okay, so that is a straight horizontal line. Number 7, create your XY chart, 0, 1, and 2. Now this one says x equals 5. Oh, I'm sorry. Put those in too quickly before I looked at the problem. So if this says x equals 5, then 5 will always be your x value. And these, you can actually pick any random number. So if x is going to equal 5 always, I'm going to go to 5, 1. I'll go to 5, 2. Can go to 5, 3. If x equals 5, if x is the given value, then that's always going to be a vertical line. Last one. 0, 1, and 2. Substitute for x. 2 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, so we're going to go to 0, 2, 1, 4, and 2, 6. And there's our line. So again, the slope of this line is 2. and the y-intercept is 2. So you can see that that line hit the y-axis right at 2. Alrighty, that's all, folks.